Today, I have a really cool interview for you. This guy, I've actually, no one turned me on to him. I was perusing GearUp's eclectic catalog of video footage and saw this fellow owning GearUp in the most amusing way. And so I followed, I went back to his channel, and lo and behold, all of his videos were witty and amusing and funny. So I sent him a mail, and he agreed to do this interview with me. He's called the Tempus Fugitive. He's from across the pond, and this interview will no doubt be most entertaining. Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Today's interview is with a guy named Tempus Fugitive, and I really like this guy. When I first got the idea to do interviews on this channel, I saw him owning GearUp on his own channel, and
Good old GearUp. I said I was going to make a video about you, and so here I am. As to why you've earned my complete, total, and indeed utter contempt, as well as knocking a couple of percentage points off my faith in humanity.
What did I do to earn complete and utter contempt by you?
he just had loads of charisma, and I thought he was really funny, his English sense of humor, and he seemed really intelligent in that whole thing. But when I first got the idea to do videos on this channel, I mainly chose people in the beginning who I thought wouldn't tell me to go fuck myself. And he seemed like a really nice guy. And I wish that I had a chance to do this interview all over again, because I actually filmed this months ago. And I sent it to him, and he was busy and that sort of thing. And then his schedule tied him up to the point where there's been a lot of months in this video coming out. And I wish I had a chance to go back and do it over again, knowing what I know now. But nonetheless, he's the star of the show here, so this interview is really awesome. I bring you the Tempus Fugitive. Tempus, I have a couple of friends from across the pond, and it's always amusing to me to hear what their opinions of Americans are. What is your opinion of Americans?
Well, firstly, Rev, thanks very much for asking me to do this. I think I'm the first British person you've asked. Although I might be wrong in that, but I'm pretty sure I am. So, thank you again. And as you see, I've made an effort. I've thrown a jacket on. What do I think of Americans? It's quite a difficult one to answer, actually, because there's two different ways of looking at it. You can either say on an individual level or on a national level, so I'll take it as a sort of national first. You're a happy bunch, aren't you, really? I mean, I've been to America, and it does seem that you're quite aggressively happy in some ways. I don't know whether this is sort of inbuilt into the American psyche, but you do tend to go into shops, malls, restaurants, that sort of anything that's sort of public. And have a nice day is forced upon you by every single person. It's quite bizarre, really. But I'm not saying it's not nice. I mean, I live in a country where it's perfectly acceptable to, hand over cash in a shop for any item. It could be anything, groceries, whatever, and the person will say, piss off at the end of it. That's perfectly acceptable. So, the pleasantry is nice, but it can get a bit, not so much grating, but more tedious after a while. I mean, it does go on and on and on, and every single shop you go into, every single restaurant you go to, you get these people, have a nice day, have a nice day, have a nice day. And at some point, your day is going to be crap. And these people are going to be saying, have a nice day to you every single time. And you're going to flip. Oh, I would anyway. So yeah, as a national sort of stereotype, really, it is not, you are quite happy, but you also have that sort of edge of patriotism, which is a bit creepy. You do have, at least from a sort of European standpoint, you do have this air of superiority as a nation. I'm not, not saying it's entirely the people's fault, but there is this underlying current of supremacy. You tend to do the Pledge of Allegiance in school. You know, you have your flags everywhere. That's not so prevalent in Britain, and certainly no Pledge of Allegiance or anything like that happens in Britain. I mean, we're almost too apathetic to even bother learning our own national anthems, never mind any sort of pledges. So it does look a little bit odd. There's this cheerfulness which has an edge of slightly insane patriotism, but that's national, and obviously, you know, national stereotypes can never be fully justified. So on an individual level, just plain nice people, I think, really. I've never met any Americans who have been sort of sullen or melancholic. Obviously there are those, but, you know, due to the weather on the East Coast, which is where I went, you know, Florida, those sorts of places, you just seem to be overwhelmingly happy. And I can't say I blame you. I never really did anything that really deserved punishment, to be honest. I was never really punished as a child for anything, mainly because I couldn't see the point, rational from an early age, of doing anything overtly destructive. There was no reason to it. Obviously I accidentally did stuff. My father bought quite an expensive stereo system, and I accidentally poured juice all over it. But, you know, I mean, you can't really punish someone for an accident like that. And the only thing I can really think of from quite an early age, and I wasn't even punished for this because my parents didn't really find out about it until I was, I don't know, 15 or something. I was about 9, maybe 10, and I went to stay over at a friend's house. And his father was an engineer or something similar, and he had quite a big garage full of you know, basically the tools of the trade. And I took some of them. I don't know why I did it. I just saw them and went, oh, that looks quite cool, and put it in a bag. I brought it home, looked at it, figured out what it was. I can't remember what it was now, but I remember going, well, that's now boring to me, and I took it back. I didn't tell his father, but I just gave it back to the boy and said, oh, sorry, I took this. That's it. That is the only thing I did from an early age that was even remotely punishable. And by the time I started doing things that my parents would consider punishing me for, I was certainly old enough and clever enough to figure out ways and means of not letting them know. So I think, you know, I don't think I've ever been punished for anything overtly. Oh, a good boy, me.
If the almighty rhinoceros in the sky came down and issued unto you a golden soapbox for you to stand upon, and you had one message that every person in America and the UK could hear, what would that one message be?
Well, you give me a real good one here. There are so many things that I'd like the civilized world to sort out. And one of them is cheese. Why are people still eating this rubbish? You do realise that this is milk that is so fetid it's actually solidified. Just making sure that everybody understands that. It's even better when you start putting fungus in it. You've got things like blue cheese. Oh, God, and it tastes like shit as well. Why you... Anyway, I'm not going to be that so petty as to say that the whole of the civilized world should decide as one organism to stop eating cheese.